All right, let's give away some awards for the week. Gablett Areas, who was best on ground? I'll tell you what, Jez, watching Cozzy up close and personal is awesome. God, he turned that game on its head. The shrug tackles in the middle a couple of times, setting up other players. He got sort of worked over a little bit early, but he was like still their bright spark for a lot of it. And by the time he finished with 33 touches, and you're like, each one easier than the last, until it came down to the very end where he's just like hitting up Bailey Fritsch, who had done nothing the entire like first 2 and a bit quarters of the game, and then turns into like, I don't know, Peter Sumich out of nowhere, kicks 4. And it was like, he was amazing. And like, because I've been to games where Cozzy's played before, but his control and his speed is now just next level. And you're like, oh, when he is on, there aren't too many AFL players who are better.
And he was getting amongst it with the chat as well, I noticed, which I really enjoyed. You know, I was trying to explain to my son who his uncle was and how his uncle used to take people out for fun. And yeah, he's got a lot of that picket about him.
Yep.
In that he loves the contact, but I think he's finally learning that the best place for him is to actually be able to play because he's been unreal.
He
Like this
also,
season so far, he's just even in the big loss they had, he was pretty good. So
Zach Williams
yeah,
tried to
superstar.
line him up and got
Yes.
absolutely walloped. And you're like,
And then copped a mouthful after.
okay.
Let's go.
Honorable mention for me is Job Shanahan for the Eagles. He did the Leo Barry U-Star move.
Yeah.
The power of flying back down with like a minute plus to just over a minute, I think, left in that game. We're all standing in the bar, go, oh, God. I'm like, who was that? It's like Job Shanahan. You're like, sick. Honorable mention for, I don't know, best on ground of the week. I might also buy him a beer. That might be the next one. But anyway, who have you got there, Jez?
Because he was obviously my pick, so I'm doubling down on that one. But I also think you can't go past Nick Dacos for 3. It'll be Collingwood and Dacos, 3 votes. I just think he's putting it. I actually think that the snubs, if you want to call them that, of the Brownlow and the best and fairest, of little bit of a fire under him, and I think he's going to have one of those seasons where he leaves absolutely no doubt that at the very least he should have won those awards. If not, he should have already won them last year. But the fact that Collingwood have changed their voting process to obviously make sure that he wins it just shows how much he was stitched up last year. And I think in not just that, but the main award as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Cozzy, you can't really go past him, can you?
No, I think
that was amazing. He led that single handedly.
it's a good game. The Dacos thing is like awesome. So watching that game that he played, and then watching I don't know, my beloved Blues play, it's like I'm like pointing at Sam Walsh. Could just do more of what Dacos does. Can you do? Oh, just the way that he finds himself around the ball at all times, and he's like Lockie Neal in that regard, right? Where the ball sort of just finds him, and he knows what to do with it a lot of the time, really, really well. It's like this weird sort of combination of IQ, athleticism, and just like real footy nous. And it's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, come on, Sam Walsh, you do more of that. But at the same time, then I'm looking at Jagger Smith. I'm like, I think he might be doing that. But
I think he might be getting pretty close very quickly.
Who are you buying a beer this week? Max Gorn, 250 games.
Yeah, on your Maxi.
I was happy that he, got to 250 and got a win. I just really wish it wasn't against Carlton in such disastrous fashion. But anyway, what about you there, Jess?
Look, this one's going to be a little bit and possibly an unpopular one, and it might come a bit from left field, but I think he had a bit of a brain snap, and I think he might just need one to help him calm down. But I'm going to buy the big Tristan Xerri one. Might be a mid strength though, because I don't know if he'd be that great to hang on too many heavies. So, but look, I think that that's unfortunately for him probably going to be something that he's not going to live down for a while. And I just don't know that he's actually all that bright. So, and a lot of, I mean, look, the air is thinner up there, they say. So, and he's got a nice tight helmet on, but I'm going to buy him a beer and put my arm around him and tell him that everything will be all right. So
that's very nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Spud of the week. It's probably Cherry.
Yeah.
I did have Xerri written down. Xerri tried. Zach
Mm.
Barrett did try his guts out. He got absolutely swamped. I think at one point he had like 8 touches. I don't know if he got any more after that either. But
He ended up with 10,
10, there
which
you go.
they had a stat on the broadcast that said that the last time he got under 10 disposals was 2018, and he only played 16 minutes of the game. So it's a fair effort. And I heard a lot of commentary over the last couple of days about how, oh, did he give up on the Dons and all this sort of stuff. And I hadn't watched the game yet, and I'm thinking, oh, look, would you blame him? But I watched it, and the way when he actually kicked that last goal to bring us to within 2 goals, and the way he celebrated and that, he's still pouring his heart out for that club, and they probably don't deserve as much of the effort that he's getting. So I can forgive him for a down week. They tagged him pretty hard. They tagged him really hard, and it worked for him. So why not?
As it was O'Sullivan, I think, who went to him, right?
Yes.
Like
Yep.
showing
And
him.
just
It
shut him down. So
was an awesome game. Yeah,
yeah.
tough one for Xerri.
Yeah.
With I don't know, honourable mention for me, Campbell Chesser. Just
Mm,
I've never seen someone just butcher a ball so badly. It's like
mm.
anyway. What about you there, Judge?
Back to back for me. And I think if he has one more, we're going to name this award after him. But Ben Mackay. So last week he played 94% of game time and had 6 disposals and 2 marks. This week he played 100% of game time and had 5 disposals and 2 marks, and was not cited at any contest in the forward half,
Jeez.
which is not great. I thought he was looking good in the first game, especially early on. He was marking and he was defending as a defender should. But oh, I don't know whether they've, I don't know, maybe they've swapped Ben and Harry after after opening round or round one or whatever we're at, because neither of them seem to be performing in their positions the way they should. So maybe they need to swap back, or maybe Ben needs to go up forward or to the VFL. I don't know, but something has to be done. I'd rather see a young bloke come out and at least try, and we get the same result, if not maybe slightly better, if maybe slightly worse, but at least we go than the effort that he's putting up at the moment. It's terrible.
Nice. Spuds of the week also, I mean, a couple of coaches who are on the old hot seat as well. Voss
Mm.
and Brad Scott, who gave us a great meme this week of just the dead-eyed look of
He doesn't have. You can definitely say that he doesn't have the same problem that Prince Andrew had, because his face was soaked.
better than Bootsma. Taylor Byrne for me. On debut, kicks a goal, his first kick. I loved it. I'm like sitting there going, wait, I don't think he's gotten a kick yet. Oh, God. And like, as everybody sort of realized that as well at the ground, everybody like lost it when he did it. It was awesome. It was a great kick too, 45 out, snagged it. So that was kind of neat, and it's very clearly better than Bootsma. Harry Dean could have won this again for me. He absolutely poleaxed himself late in this game and actually made a bit of a difference too, I think. Because I think you brought this up a couple of weeks ago, just how much even his posture looks like his dad.
Mm,
And it's
it's scary.
it's crazy in person. You're just like, that's Peter Dean. What are we doing?
Mm.
This is amazing. So, yeah, it was good to see him go. But Taylor Byrne gets it for me. That was awesome. What about you, Jez?
Well, I really struggled to split these two guys, but there was Oscar Steen in the ruck for Collingwood.
Steam.
He's got their Collingwood ferals all up and about now that they've got another gun young fella. But yeah, he dominated. Probably allowed Darcy Cameron to have a bit of a night off, rest the body up, and just play the second fiddle role for a little bit. But the other one that I thought, and he was really good early when Richmond were up and about, but Steely Green.
Yep.
So he's been on the list for a couple of years, a little bit older. He kicked 3 goals, one, and just the way he went about it, he's got some real nous in the forward line. So I really like the way he went about it, and I think he's going to be the difference with Richmond and West Coast, and even North. I'll probably put them together as opposed to Essendon and Carlton, and even St Kilda to an extent, is that you can see what they're trying to do.
Yep.
They're just not quite there yet. Whereas the other 3 teams I mentioned should be better than they are, but no one's got any clue what they're supposed to do, least of all themselves. So I think Richmond, they've got a very similar issue with their senior players. Some of their senior players not performing, but they're also at the end. They've won their flow, they've done their job, but they've got a lot of young kids who look like they're going to have some really good careers. So, and Steely Green, he's one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Mm.
think, yeah, he is like this. It's like this, the bright spark when you see him actually hit. You're like, yes, but it's so hard to be consistent in that role, right? And so,
I think there was one goal that he kicked, and he took a really good mark, contested mark, and you could see Tim Taranto pointing to the screen with a big smile on his face, going, "Hell yeah, that was awesome!"
that's
And that's the sort of stuff you like to see from a young team, is when you've got one of their, and he was captain for the day, when you got one of their leaders getting excited about. He can see the direction they're going in, so he's obviously going to stick it out, and you sort of love to see that with a. And Elliot Yo's the same way at West Coast.
oh,
Oh, I knew you wanted, but he'd be having an absolute ball with that young list and the way they're performing, and really taking it up size and winning games now. But he'd be having the time of his life. And look, that could extend both of their careers by a year or two, just being around that sort of youthful exuberance.
yeah,
So yeah, I thought it was really good.
the Luke Parker gig.
Mm. Oh, he's another one.
He was
He'd be
fantastic.
enjoy if they start winning and they start having, they start moving up the ladder. There's no reason why he couldn't play another year or two, helping as an on-field coach, helping those young guys come through. I reckon it's a great thing when you have that in sport. We've seen it in the NBA, where you have blokes like our mate Jingles,
Mhm.
who is basically on there as a very limited playing coach. So, but it's great. I think there's a place for it in all sports. And I reckon it's awesome.
Yeah, good shout. Some quick it's grand final time. Do you even care really that much? Yeah, nah. I'm just gonna say nah. I just
Nah,
whatever.
get over it.
It's like I feel like there's a real lack of imagination in people who care dramatically either side of this argument.
The question I'd have for them is, so if it gets moved to a night game, are you not going to watch it?
Yeah,
And the answer is, well, yeah, of course I'm going to watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Well, shut up then.
And like of all the people who can actually go to the grand final, like it's like, oh, but I want to do this during the day. It's like you can still do all that during the day.
Mm,
In fact, you have now
yeah,
more time to do your stuff. So I want to run errands. Like, what errands are you running on grand final day, you idiot? Shut. It's a Saturday. Settle down.
nerd.
Jesus. But look, how we're losing to the NRL. Settle down,
No,
Jerry.
we're not.
No,
No, we're not.
their big problem at the moment, though, is I think the first few rounds of NRL is actually rated pretty well, and the ratings for AFL and attendance has actually gone down a little bit uh, comparative to like the last few years. But we're also in like an unprecedented cost of living crisis, and having
Correct.
been to a couple of games already this year, I'm like, I don't think we're going to go again for a while because I don't think
Mm.
we're going to afford it. So
I am going to, when I cover my opening round fix, I will cover
yeah.
those points there. So I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I did promise by Anzac Day, so relax. I've got time.
I think opening round's
But
like a part of the entire thing too, right? Like opening round happens and it doesn't sort of like you're sort of trying to push the game in the northern states who are just like, what, dude?
yeah,
What? Don't care. NRL's happening. Like where?
mm,
So either just start at everything at the same time that same weekend and just make a big ballyhoo up there. Like everybody just pump it.
correct. Yeah.
Uh, anyway, you got some other ones there, Jez.
I've got a couple there. So this one's close to your heart. If the Blues are up by 6 goals at halftime against North on Good Friday, and they lose, is that it for Voss? Is he out the door on Tuesday?
So what's that? Round
Yeah, nah.
four. Round four.
Mm,
Adam Simpson is right there.
mm,
Horse is like over there too. Like if you
mm,
really want to,
yep.
but I don't know. I think 5 rounds into a, well, yeah, 5 weeks into a season is probably a little bit too early.
But if it's the same manner, that's
Yeah.
4 or 5 games in a row that have gone exactly the same way.
So 8
And that's a concern.
8 times since the start of last year, the Blues have led at halftime and lost the game. So I don't know, something I was very much on board like right, if nothing's going to change, then he's got to go. Trained last year and prior to that. And then, there's these little bits and bobs. It's like, oh, is it going to actually change? And then this start of this season, if they lose in the exact same way to North, I don't think anyone's going to cry too many tears if he's done. So,
well, they did have almost the well, I think he's the CEO or whatever his role is, Graham Wright, come out and say, "We'll back Michael Voss. He's our man." Now that's almost saying he's got the full support of the board, isn't it?
I love it. Yeah, it's the death knell.
Yeah.
Like
So
anything,
if it happens, I think he may not even leave the change room without being given his 2 weeks.
so the Roos did beat them last time as well. Not in the sort of Good Friday game. I think we smashed them last year.
Yeah.
But then they beat us later in the season. I want to say, yeah, it was my
Yeah, that's right.
it was my birthday.
Happy birthday, Jim.
And it was the worst birthday ever. We're sitting there, my old man
Actually,
and I'm like, this sucks. What are we doing? Because I think at this point, this is just after maybe Carlton had beaten Essendon in the King's birthday game. And like it's sort of maybe not sucking too much. And then, it all went to hell in a hand that game. So, So I reckon if they lose in the same way, he should be. I reckon. It's obviously
that's a yeah.
It's structural, so I got to go yeah.
That's a yeah for me too.
Yep.
I've got one other, and this one goes to St Kilda. Should they be kicking themselves that they let Jack Steele go? Yeah, nah.
I don't know. I feel it's a hard one, right? Because I think with something like this, like Steele would he be doing what he's able to do for Melbourne for the Saints, do you think? Right? It's a really strange sort of situation where they move on from a dude who always felt like it was a little bit early. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Well, when I look at St Kilda, I look at they've got Naz, who's a gun.
Yep.
And it almost feels like they're pinning a lot of their hopes on him and what he can do. And it doesn't feel like they've got a lot else as far as leadership goes.
Yeah.
Now, Steele is a leader. He was their captain. So why not keep him around? And if he goes off a cliff this year, then they got nothing for him. So keep him around to help with the leadership side of things, the culture side of things, and then move him on maybe at the end of this year once someone else steps in. But I'm not yeah or no. I'm probably in the middle because it was just an interesting thing that you sort of notice that they lack a little bit of that leadership.
Yeah.
And yet they let their leader go. And having said that, though, you don't really look at him like that awe-inspiring captain like you would with like a Paddy Cripps when he's on. He's that sort of jump on my back, fellas, let's go. Even Max Gawn, he's one of those captains that can really get his teammates up and about when they're there and thereabouts. But I don't know. It's just an interesting one that I sort of thought of and thought was an interesting sort of thing to ponder.
I think he's got that sort of level of class and ability and that leadership. When you add it all together, like if nothing else, he becomes a pretty important depth player for St Kilda. And it feels like in a game like they lost on the weekend, like just having those sort of really intense moments, having that extra sort of half decent pair of hands out there on the field make a bit of a difference sometimes.
Bit of composure, a little bit of a cool head, maybe.
That's a great spot. I liked it because, like, watching him against the Blues the other day, it's just like it's those little moments where you're like, we don't really have that guy. It's meant to be like, it's probably for us. It's meant to be Adam Chera or Blakers or like when Zach Williams goes in the middle and stuff, like it just gives it like that extra little bit of a zing. But I don't know. Good shout though. I like that.
I can't breathe. I can't